Hey, house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada 11 digital daily updates. What's going on? Happy Saturday and happy April Fool's Day. Hopefully, none of us will be fools today. Our house guests of the day are Patrice and Joey Dollover Rower. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So, thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. And look at that. Mom is here in the chat. Yay. So she will be adding her color commentary to this live stream, even though she's not here in person. So I appreciate her doing that. Okay, so I feel like this setup is so close today and it's weirding me out. But anyway, when we left off yesterday, it's Whodunit week. The HOH and the POV winners are going to be anonymous. This is a lot of fun to watch on the show as a viewer, but I have to say they've done something like this before with the secret HOH, and it does kind of stifle a lot of the game talk because people don't know who they should be campaigning to, who they should be sucking up to. So it kind of like leaves people just like wandering around and doing nothing. There's a lot more downtime, I feel like, on weeks like this, but I'm hoping it's going to be a good payoff with what happens and with what we see on the episodes this week. So there is a new HOH, but yesterday we did not know who it was. The house guests did not either, except for the winner. So there was lots of speculation about Jonathan, also about Dan. They were both insisting that they did not win. They seem to be the two front runners of who people think won. And everybody's just hoping that the nominations, when they happen, will give everyone some clarity. Me too. But I'm happy to report that we do know who won the HOH now, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. But in other news, we saw yesterday that Claudia went running back to Tai. Ew. And they are trying to get a new group together to go up against Kuzi, Hope, Jonathan, and Anika, who have all gotten pretty tight in the last, like, I don't know, week and a half or so. Definitely the last week. And now Ty and Claudia are hoping to pull in Shania, Dan, and Daniel C. Possibly Renee. Renee, don't do it, please. So don't work with that group. Yeah, so that was all yesterday. Now let's talk about today's digital daily. It was covering March 31st, day 28 in the house. Can you believe we're already like 4 weeks into this? Wild. I feel like this season's been going really fast. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, it starts out with Jonathan and Santina chatting in the backyard. And guess what? It seems an awful lot like Santina won HOH because she basically said she did. Unfortunately, I wish this conversation we got to see like a few minutes earlier because I feel like Santina was saying exactly what she was planning on doing, but because of where they started showing us, we didn't get that. And we had to make some assumptions, infer some things, use our context clues. So yeah, I wish they would have shown us a few minutes earlier in this combo, but they don't want to just give everything away. It's just funny too that Santina won HOH because we saw her lie so hard to Tai and say that she messed up the competition so bad, which is hilarious. But it's also good news, I feel like, for people who are not Tai fans, because I was worried before that Santina was still sticking with Tai, but it seems like now she's not in a stress position in the game. She doesn't need to rely on him. She does not want to work with him. So it's good seeing that she did not tell him that she won. And it's good news also to see that she's sharing with Jonathan. Mom says Jonathan must have known yesterday because he told Hope, let me do my work. Yeah, I feel like there's a good chance that Santina told him pretty early on. And it does seem like Jonathan is the only person that she's shared this with at this point. So it seems like they are getting pretty close here. I mean, who else is Santina going to work with? She doesn't have a lot going on ally-wise. So this is an interesting person to win. And honestly, like I never thought I would be so excited to see Santina win another HOH. But here we are, right? It's been a crazy season. So okay, Jonathan is telling Santina, it's a smart move, what you have planned. And he's basically saying if Dan goes, a strong player is going to be leaving. And Tai will also be losing a number. So it sounds like Dan will possibly be going on the block with one of the girls just as a pawn, and Dan will be the target. I mean, I'm down for that. Of course, I would love to see Ty leave, but I'm okay with Dan leaving as well. So Jonathan asks Santina, if Dan wins Power Veto, are you going to put Ty up? And Santina says that Ty basically told her if he hears from anyone that he's going to be going up on the block, he's just going to walk out the front door. Seriously, the egos on these bros are so fragile. I mean, we saw what Zach did a few days ago, and now Ty is like threatening to walk if he is a nominee. Are you freaking kidding me? But this is what happens when they cast so many recruits who don't really give a shit about the show, right? They don't care about the integrity of the game. They are willing to walk because this doesn't mean that much to them, which is sad. But that's where we're at with that. I don't know if he's serious about that, if he would actually walk, but if he does, that's really, really lame. But Santina's saying she would like Dan to go this week. I couldn't really understand what she was saying, like if she would put Ty up as a replacement nominee or not. I'm hoping, yeah, but I don't know. But she would prefer for Dan to go. So she also shares with Jonathan that she can still play for HOH next week. So there is the potential there that she could be HOH in back-to-back weeks. Because they got to keep the secret. Big Brother doesn't want to reveal that she was the winner this week. And Jonathan is super excited about it because he sees that Santina wants to work with him. So he's like, yeah, if you win again, that's awesome. So Jonathan is also letting Santina know, if you want to bring in Hope, he will be very loyal. He will leave this house before backstabbing an ally. So Jonathan's like, you can trust me. Very excited about this week. Let's do this. Jody Cortez, thank you so much for the super chat. This is not the new place. No, but thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, it has been a crazy few episodes. Totally agree, Catherine. Yeah, so after talking to Jonathan, Hope comes out and talks to Santina next. And Santina is not sharing with anyone else from what I've seen that she won HOH. Santina's asking Hope, like, who do you think it is? And Hope says he thought it was Dan because Dan has been acting really weird. But now he's not really sure. He doesn't know what to think at this point. It seems like he's taking a little bit of a mental break from the game, honestly. He's talking about like being all chill and not overthinking things. He really thought he was going to be a lot better at this game. He came in here thinking that he was going to have the best social game out of anyone. He thought that he would be able to adapt better to any situation that was thrown at him, but like we've seen, he's struggled with that quite a bit. I don't think he knew what he was getting into completely. So Santina's asking, do you feel safe this week? And Hope says, I feel like I'm at bliss right now. He says, I'm not overthinking things. And they talk about the letter situation. And Santina says, you know what? I don't really care about it. It's not a big deal to me. I think it was overblown. She says she's just glad that Zach is gone at this point. Yes, me too. Okay, so after that, I was like, wow, we're getting started like in a great way here. We got this huge like 2.5 hour digital daily. And the first like 10 minutes were great, action packed. And then after that, there was like almost an hour and a half of random chit chat while the house guests were on lockdown in the backyard. I mean, it's hard for them to talk a lot of game when everybody is in the same place. So people were just like hanging out, exercising. And then Claudia is helping Ty study while they're all cuddled up. Disappointing. Seriously, like Claudia, what are you doing? Look at your life. Look at your choices. So, yeah, I'm just not happy that Claudia has gone running back to Ty like this. So Claudia says the two of us have to talk with Dan and Shania. She wants to set up a 4 with them. And she's like, I don't think Renee is going to be down to work with this group. It seemed like before that Renee was open to it. But I think Renee is more focused on kind of playing the middle at this point, and she's not going to want to commit to working with Ty and Dan, especially not knowing who's HOH this week. So Ty is like, well, you should have kept Zach. We wouldn't have been in this situation this week. So then Claudia half jokes, "Oh, well, I had to weaken your numbers so that you would only have me." I hate it here. So Ty is saying he really doesn't want Dan to go this week. He's pretty sure that Jonathan won HOH. He did not. And he feels like he and Dan would be Jonathan's targets. So Ty's like, I'm pretty confident that I would hold it strong for the guys or whatever. I would beat all the guys in competitions, not even worrying about how the girls are gonna do. But he says, I want Dan here as backup just in case, I slip up randomly in a competition or something. So he's just as cocky as ever. Yeah. So Claudia seems to think also that Jonathan is the HOH, and she's like, "We got that East Coast thing going, so I'm hoping that he would not put me up on the block." Claudia does not want to end up next to Ty. That is like her worst case scenario. But clearly nominations haven't happened by this point, and we actually find out later. I don't think they happened at all yesterday. Like they might just be happening today. They might be doing noms and POV in the same day. I guess it's probably more complicated since they're keeping the HOH winner a secret. So they got to like do all this crazy gymnastics to like not give it away. I mean, I'm sure they have to like call everybody into the diary room and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, no nominations yet. So Ty is going through scenarios of what would happen if he and Dan were to go up on the block together. Who's got time for that? I mean, I'd love to see it, but he's like, we got to save both of us, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So then Claudia brings up how she feels like Renee is a huge threat. Oh, we got a kitty cat incoming possibly here. Come on. Oh, Winnie. Yes. So Claudia brings up how she feels like Renee is emerging as a threat. Obviously not as a competition threat, but definitely mentally. She's really smart. She's super social. She knows the game, especially compared to these people who have like no idea what's going on because they've never seen the show before. But Claudia is also thinking like she and Shania are getting super close, and Renee is going to become the third wheel in this situation. And she feels like it's going to come to a point where Renee realizes this and turns on Claudia and Shania. So Claudia wants to keep an eye on that whole situation. This is my sister's kitty. Yeah, so Claudia's getting a little nervous about Renee. Renee, you better look out, girl. So Claudia, that being said, Claudia wants Hope and Santina to go. Those are her targets at this time. And Ty is saying that Hope is his number one target. He is not looking at anyone else until Hope is gone because of like the letter thing. I guess also because Hope didn't do what Ty told him to do. Hope has his own brain. So that is a threat to Ty. All right. Let me take a break here and just thank our super chatters. Wendy Will, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Kenny D, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Yes, Claudia. I can't with Claudia right now. Yeah, mom says Ty is super positive that Jonathan won HOH. He's wrong. I know, right? Okay. So then, wait. Oh, yeah, I don't think that was actually Global tweeting about that, Cheryl. I saw somebody tweet that the feeds were coming back as an April Fool's joke, but I saw they like changed their Twitter name and their picture to make it look like it was Global. But it wasn't. Like if you look at their actual name, their handle on Twitter, it wasn't them. I don't think they would do that. People would be so pissed. Oh my god, in this climate. So anyway, Dan and Shania have a little chat and they're talking about how they miss Zach. You mean the guy who quit? Yeah. But they agree that with Zach gone, the house is less chaotic now. So they're cool with that. But Shania thinks that Dan won HOH, and Dan's like, no, I did not. I wish I did, but no, I did not. So he reveals he had a chat with Jonathan because he thinks that Jonathan won, and he was kind of trying to feel him out. and he did not get a good vibe from Jonathan. He thinks that he will probably be going up on the block. I mean, yeah, I think Dan will be going up on the block, but it's going to be by Santina's hand. I'm just thinking of Game of Thrones when Olenna Tyrell or whatever was like, let Cersei know it was me. I'm hoping Santina will get to have her moment like that because that'd be fun. But anyway, Dan and Shania are hoping they're not going to go on the block together because these two have become very tight. They're like a little duo. Honestly, I feel like they could end up on the block together if Santina is planning on putting Dan up next to one of the girls. I mean, Shania is a great candidate for that, right? I mean, she hasn't really done anything yet in this game. So she would make a good pawn to go up against him, and she would be a vote for him to stay if she wasn't on the block. So then we have Jonathan and Kuzi chatting in the storage room, and Kuzi also thinks that Dan is the HOH this week, and Jonathan's like, no. He told me straight up that he did not win. Ty also told me straight up that he did not win. Again, Jonathan knows that it's Santina, but he is probably the only person that she's told. So if he starts telling people and it gets out there, Santina is going to know that she can't trust him. So he's keeping it on the down low, not really telling people from what we've seen. But anyway, Kuzi says that people are spreading around that you won, but she is convinced that it's Dan. So yeah, Kuzi is worried that if Dan won, she's going to be nominated with Hope because Zach and Dan were super tight. Maybe Dan wants revenge. And Kuzi says if one of us comes off the block, you're probably going to go up as the replacement, Jonathan, because we're all, close and being associated with each other. No, that's not what's happening. But Jonathan doesn't want to say that straight up to Kuzi. So then Kuzi has the same conversation after with Hope, and Hope is telling Kuzi, look, you're not going home no matter what. I will do everything in my power to make sure that you stay. I look out for my people. It seems like Hope is just like ready to go at any point, sacrifice his own game for one of his allies, because I don't think he really cares about this too much. I think he wants the exposure, and I don't think he's in it for the gaming. I know that he said in his DRs, like, oh, I'm here to win, and I'm telling people that I'm cool with leaving just so they won't see me as much of a threat. But like, I think there is some truth to that as well. Yeah. So then Kuzi and Jonathan have another chat in the storage room, and Jonathan is trying to make Kuzi feel better. He's whispering to Kuzi, I really don't think that you're going up on the block this week or that you're the target. He says, I'm not 100%, so I don't want to say too much, but I'm pretty sure that the person who won HOH has the same mindset as us. They have the same goal, the same plan this week, pretty much. So, like, don't worry. He says, trust me. I can't say for sure, but I think I know what's going on here. And, people trust me. People are bringing stuff to me. So he's kind of saying, like, look, the HOH revealed themselves to me, but I can't say who it is. But we don't need to worry. So Jonathan says, I'm making sure that our group is safe. And it seems like their group at this point, again, is Jonathan, Kuzi, Hope, Anika, kind of Daniel C, even though Daniel is definitely playing the middle right now. He is not solidly with Kuzi anymore. So then Shania and Ty have a chat in the Flamingo room, and Ty is again saying he is 99% sure that Jonathan is the HOH. Wrong. And they agree that is not good for them. Ty says the worst case scenario is him and Dan going up on the block together. Shania says, yeah, that's really scary. She does not want that to happen. So Ty says, this is what we were trying to warn you about 2 days ago when he was trying to keep Zach around. I can't. And Ty says, I get it. I know you gals had your reservations, but this puts us in a tight spot now. This is exactly what we were afraid of happening. Oh, well. Deal with it. So Ty says, I really hate to put the burden on other people, which is hilarious because that was like his whole game, getting other people to do stuff for him. But he says, I really think that Claudia is going to need to step it up this week because, again, he thinks that Jonathan is the HOH. And out of all the people in their little group, he sees that Claudia is the closest to Jonathan. They have that East Coast connection. They've been relatively close throughout the game so far. So he is hoping that Claudia will be able to sway Jonathan, point him in another direction, not target Ty and Dan. So he's saying, I hope Jonathan will see me as valuable to someone that he cares about. You know, he won't want to take me out because I'm good for Claudia. Jonathan was saying yesterday that he's disappointed that Claudia ran back to you. So I don't think he sees it that way. Also, he's not HOH, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, then we have Anika and Ty chatting in the parlor. They're kind of clearing the air about things. Ty is saying that he doesn't hold it against people trying to make the move against Zach. He's realizing now that that was a plan that was in place before the whole letter thing blew up. Duh. But yeah, he's saying he respects the move. He respects Kuzi. He'd want to work with her again. I mean, he's pretty desperate right now for numbers, right? And he says, like, I was upset about the letter situation, but that was out of your control. You had nothing to do with that. So then they're talking about this week. Anika is of the belief that Dan is HOH, and Ty says, no way, it's Jonathan. So they keep going back and forth about this. It's exhausting, it's repetitive, whatever. But I have to say, Santina is doing a great job here because nobody suspects that it's her. I mean, honestly, nobody thinks it's any of the girls because apparently only the guys can win competitions. But yeah, Santina is doing a really good job of staying under the radar. And I think even with her nominations, people are going to assume it's Jonathan and not her. And I think that he is prepared to take the blame for that. He's not going to like sell Santina out. He seems okay with people thinking that it's him. So yeah. Then we have a quick conversation with Renee and Shania in the Flamingo room. Renee is talking about how her, Shania, and Claudia are kind of just like riding the middle right now. I mean, I don't think Claudia and Shania are riding the middle as much as Renee is. I think Claudia and Shania are like firmly on the other side with Ty and Dan right now. And Renee is not realizing this. Renee doesn't realize that she is the third wheel with those other two girls. But Renee says, we got to see what happens this week. And then we can determine like which way we're going to lean because we don't know which side's going to be losing a number. We need to wait and see what happens. So then like Santina came in and that conversation was broken up. But yeah, they still did not do nominations up to that point. I guess they're doing them today. Hopefully we will know the nominations and the POV winner on Monday. I'm curious to see what's going to happen there, of course, but also if the HOH will be outed at any point. I don't know. It's looking like Dan and possibly one of the girls will be going up on the block. I'm hoping for a tie back door. Let's do it. Thank you to Theodore for the super chat. Theodore says, thanks for your hard work, Maddie and Janet. Thank you. Also, how messy would it be if Jonathan exposes Santina as the HOH in a later week because everyone thinks it's him? I don't see him doing that. I feel like he is a ride or die, as he would say. I don't think he would sell out his ally like that. And I think Santina admitting to him that she won HOH is really showing him that she wants to work with him moving forward. I don't see him playing dirty like that. I think he's doing his thing, right? His Jonathan thing. But yeah, thank you again for the super chat. Yeah, Mob says if this season had live feeds, they would have had to cut half of them with this group. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of stuff that they didn't want us to see, right? Oh, especially last week. So yeah. But I want to thank you all so much for being here, especially on a beautiful Saturday. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I don't think there's going to be a digital daily tomorrow. We will be back on Monday with our next chat. So thank you all so much for being here. Yay! And until next time, much love.